Alright, we're back with a new video, the 13th episode about transforming this laundry room into a bathroom. And if you haven't seen the previous episodes, I've created a playlist for the occasion. The link is in the description. You'll find all the previous episodes there, especially the second to last one where we put foam on these two panels. Julian from the company Foamicom came from Toulouse to spend a day with me, and together we insulated the two panels. We sprayed between 14 and 15 centimeters of foam behind the studs. We even completely filled one section between two studs. So it's absolutely useless because already 14 or 15 centimeters behind the studs is equivalent to an R value between 5 and 6. If I had used fiberglass insulation, I would have had an R value between 3.5 and 4. So here, we're really well insulated thermally, acoustically. It's rot-proof, waterproof, and airtight. It locks the studs in place. They don't move at all. We're in great shape. For those who don't understand why I built the frame all at once, because I got some comments, people were saying there's no point in building the frame all at once. You have to attach it again to the drywall afterwards. I explained it in the episode where I installed this frame. But if I did it that way, there's a reason. Julian was coming from Toulouse. I wasn't going to tell him, listen, let's just do this panel first. Then, once it's attached to the foam, I put up my drywall sheets and I attached the other frame to it. He had other things to do than wait for me and watch me build a frame. So I made a corner with 3 studs. I'm going to continue with my drywall sheet. And here, drywall sheet. This insulation is spray foam. It's rot proof. It's the same insulation you find in your fridge door, garage doors, the insulation around a water heater, in boat hulls, in converted vehicles. So it insulates both thermally and acoustically. Now I can't hear anything outside. Before it was just brick and could hear everything. With this insulation sprayed directly on the wall, there's no condensation. And if you want to put a layer between your wall, so plaster or brick and the insulation, you can stick craft paper. That way, when you need to tear everything down, it won't be stuck to the wall. So in this video, we're going to install Plasterboards, 2 standard boards, and then we'll finish with the Solidrock from Signat. It's a reinforced board. So 2 standard boards because I have 3-meter boards. The ones I used for the ceiling and have in the workshop are taking up too much space. Since they're 3 meters long, I'll cut and use them. And for anything else, I'll use Solidrock. Plasterboards can be cut with a utility knife. Now's a good time to show you the Parkside saw. Since my video, people have asked in the comments what happened to it and if it still cuts well. So here's a chance to see it in action. Alright, the plasterboards are set on 3 pallets. It'll be easier to handle them here than in the workshop. I've already marked everything. All that's left is to place the straight edge and the plunge saw. Using a utility knife makes cutting easy, as I mentioned, but this is a great opportunity to demonstrate the Parkside saw. So I tried to clean the saw as much as possible. You can see there's still a bit of plaster dust inside. A blast of compressed air and WD-40 and the result isn't too bad. I really bought it just to cut plasterboard. I removed the original blade. We're going to replace it with a Freud blade, 160 millimeters in diameter, which is made for construction, for plasterboard. And with Freud, you can't go wrong. It's really great quality. You'll find the link for this blade in the description. It's compatible with all plunge saws, Festool, Makita, Mafel, of course Parkside, and even DeWalt. We're going to set up the Hilti SD 5000 collated screw gun. This works like a charm. The collated screws and the special screw for the Solidrock are here. Notice it has 2 small wings at the tip. I'll talk to you about it again in a moment. The laser, the tape measure, everything's marked out. Now just cut. The panel is cut. We have the top of the door, the side. So you saw that it generated some dust, but that's because of the machine's dust extraction. They likely chose something economical. This isn't Festool, Makita, Mayful, or DeWalt. Yet it's connected to a great vacuum cleaner. That's just how it is. They chose something cheap, same goes for the settings. Everything's plastic, so precision isn't crucial. It's fine since we're using plasterboard. But for carpentry, Festool is much better, hands down. So a bit of dust. We're on a construction site, we don't care. But, on the other hand, the cut is super clean, and that's definitely thanks to the blade from Freud. I'll film that over there. I just finished the corner with the keyhole saw. You can see that the cut is still pretty clean. So now there's actually nothing left to cut. For this panel it's done. I'll be able to finish the door frame. Next I have a full panel. So that's going to be the next one. A quick cut with the utility knife. And we take out the saw again for the window. And then it's just cuts at the bottom. So with the utility knife. But hey, it works very well. The blade cuts. There's no problem with that. If you have several panels to cut at once, 3 or 4 panels, one pass with the saw and you're good. Alright, for screwing in the panels. Still using the Hilti SD 5000 with a 22V battery. So, a drywall screwdriver. 2 options. This bit that I put here. The screws one by one. I press, it screws into the panel. Second option. The magazine for collated screws, the SDM one, which I can put in any direction. We'll get into the standard position. Okay, the collated screws, we position it here and place it against the stop. Now I can press and screw automatically into all my drywall sheets. I'll just have to change the strip when there are no more screws. End credits, end credits. So regarding the window, I brought the panel in one go, so I have a gap all around. I'm going to put an acrylic or MS polymer sealant, then a finishing strip, and there will be tiles all around the window. So right now I end up with a small gap all around the window. Unlike the door, where I slid the panel behind the frame, because there won't be any tiles there, there will probably be paint. As I mentioned, tiles will surround the window.
Music by...
For now, the panel is holding on its own with Edma's Block Plaque 2. So actually, you just have to slide this part under the panel, press down with your foot and it lifts it up. Then with the rod, you slide in the wedge and that's it. It holds on its own. Let's get the screwdriver and screws. Alright, this is a message for the nasty little haters who do nothing but criticize, saying it was impossible for me to do this corner. And yet, as you can see, drywall, and I'll be able to keep going with another sheet of drywall. I have 3 studs, as I explained in the video where I installed the structure. They're all screwed together. Drywall. Let's do a demonstration. Yeah, because on top of that, you won't be able to get your drill into the corner. So you see, it's not glued because some people might say, yeah, but you use glue, that's why it's holding up. So here, the board is holding up. I'm going to switch. I've got 2 hands, so I grab the drill, put it here and press. Oh wow, it's holding. That's strange, isn't it? But how did I do that? I'm telling you, I explained it to you. 3 studs, a panel, some screws, 3 studs, the insulation done in one go, and that's it. There's no point in talking if you have nothing to say. The panels are installed, we're good, everything is finished. I'm keeping the leftover piece of this panel to continue this section, since here it's going to be walled off for the bathroom, let's say here, and a partition wall will come in roughly around here. So the hallway will serve as a laundry room to put the water heater, the washing machines, etc. I'll ensure the wall is painted, seams finished, everything perfect, and the water heater in back. So I'll be able to access it. So, standard drywall and 2 other sheets. Since there'll be a partition about here by the bathroom, I have a piece of standard drywall in the bathroom. There will be the bathtub, we'll do the waterproofing, and everything else will be Signat Solidrock. So, this sheet has a special feature. Very high hardness, acoustic performance, strength, handles heavy loads, high moisture resistance. So high moisture resistance doesn't mean waterproof. You'll need to apply waterproofing on these sheets. We'll come back to that when we get to applying the spec or the SEL, we'll see. So let me make a side note since I see the ruler. Here, I'll show you the alignment. So here, I have my tapered edge, of course. Here, a tapered edge as well, but otherwise you see we're aligned. I can move around, we're good, okay? So, that's covered. Now quick side note, because for this Solidrock panel, as I mentioned, you need specific screws. And here I had some fun testing with regular screws, both with the impact driver and the collated screw gun. You need specific screws since it's hard to drive them into this very hard board. So that's all covered. Now we're going to tackle the separation between the bathtub and the shower. So Geberit rail, the dual fix system with the telescopic uprights that are here. Rail against this panel to create a stop. Rail on the ceiling reinforcement. We'll go check that out in the attic. We're going to screw it in. We fasten the rail to the floor with this type of screw. These are screws that go directly into the concrete. We drill and screw into the concrete, no anchors. The drill and the rail are here. We're going to cut it with this magnificent Hilti SCM22A machine. So it's a 22 volt battery and it's dedicated to cutting metal. Cold cutting, no sparks. I'll talk to you about it again later, just like I'll talk to you about the screws. So here the goal is to drill directly into the concrete and then put in the screw without an anchor. And now that it's vacuumed, I can take my screw. You can see that at the end it looks a bit like a drill bit, so it's going to dig into the concrete and the threading will grip directly into the concrete. And there you go. Here you can see it's so strong that like when I nailed the rails, it pulls on the sides. You can see that it pressed slightly on the base. Here, it's impossible to pull out. This is stronger than anchor bolts. It's super fast. No anchors, no chemical anchoring. You drill, you vacuum, you screw directly. Alright, the reinforcements are in place. We're going to pre-drill with half the diameter of the screw. So the reinforcements are in this direction, and I put some half beams tightly clamped with clamps to prevent the reinforcement from lifting when I screw it in. So now, let's go. Subtitling Société Radio-Canada. And by putting 55 mm screws directly into the furring strips, it allowed me to locate the axis of my reinforcements. So, for the painted screws, size 6 works well. And there you go. We've finished the hardest part. The rail is secured to the floor, this one to the drywall panel with expansion anchors, and it's screwed into the ceiling reinforcement. All I have left to do is install the Geberit Duofix studs, which clip into the top rail and clip into the bottom rail, so there's no need to screw anything in. And they're adjustable in height. The male part slides into the female part. And we'll rebuild the entire partition where the toilet, the mirror, and the sink will be with this type of stud. So we'll talk about it again. So, I snap it into the top track. In a moment, I'll take the camera and put it at the level of the top and bottom tracks so you can see better. Then we snap it into the bottom track and that's it. We do the same for this one. Here, I placed it a bit randomly, meaning I'll keep a spacing of 50, but for now, it's just to show you. There, it's clipped in, and the other one will put it there. And it's clipped in, and normally I could do pole dance. Now I'm not going to give you a pole dance tutorial, I'm terrible at pole dance, but that's the principle of the Geberit Duofix. It clips in, you don't need a shop, you don't need to cut the sliding uprights again. So I'm going to have exactly the same structure that will go against the bathtub, and in this structure there will be the water supply lines, the electricity for the LED strip that's going to be in the niche along this whole panel, and there will be a niche here, towards the shower, just above the mixing valve. So in the next video, we'll be able to put up, cut the drywall, and insert the niche. So I'm doing another demo for you because I forgot to mention I was going to film the top and bottom rails when I clipped the stud in, and I thought, wait, I haven't shown them that you can put the stud in and take it out. That's the advantage of this system. For example, if you set up a temporary structure, well, you can reuse the studs and the rails too, since you don't need to cut them again. They slide the male part into the female part. The rail, of course, you unscrew it, it will be intact, and there you go. And the studs, you take them apart, you store them, and you can assemble as many structures as you want. So let me show you again. Here, I just clip it in randomly and I lower it. My structure is finished. I unscrew my drywall panels and now I can, there you go,
pull on it and
I remove it and I take it with me. Simple as that. So now we're going to focus on installing the 2-gang box for the switches and the 2-gang box for the outlets just below. So I had already marked everything. I know they have to go here. I have my spacing, but we're going to simulate it. The box, for example, here, I need to install it. I know that my box, or rather my wiring, is just behind and that they need to come here. So I make a small mark, let's say. There you go, it's here. I need to drill there. Here, I have two solutions, one of which I'll show you once I've drilled in the right place, because I'm not going to start making holes just anywhere. The first solution is to use this level from the brand Via or Ouya. I never know how to say it, but it doesn't matter. Each time we have markers, so guides that we can move. And here, the idea is to put it in the right place on the little logos that represent the outlets or switches, and always use 60 apart each time.
Donc, je place le niveau sur le repère que je viens de tracer.
Of course, I make sure I'm level with the bubbles, so it could be horizontal or vertical, it doesn't matter. Here, I'm going to set it horizontally. We position it level, and then all I have to do is mark it in the second, in the third, in the fourth. So each time, I'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. All I'll have to do is drill, and I'll have the right spacing to install my boxes. So that's the first solution, using this level. Okay, second solution, and I'm going to have to make my first hole. So these hole saws are 67 or 68 in diameter, depending on the hole saw, but either one works. I'll start drilling now and go slowly since there's conduit behind it. I don't want to damage it, but it should work. So, I just threw away the circle I just cut out. And so the second solution is to use this template from Legrand, but other brands make them too. We always have a level for horizontal installation or a level for vertical installation. So here the goal is to place this template in the hole you just made, and here I'll be able to mark with a marker like this one. So this is a pica. It has a tip that's quite fine and long, so I can get inside. So we set the level properly. So up. I've already marked it here. Let's mark the third one, for example. We'll do it again anyway. Come on, let's go. 3, 4, as you like. And here my line, you see the circle I just made is here. So what I did was already good. The template for installing double or triple boxes, whatever you need, you see it's really simple. You just have to insert it into the first hole you just made. Or, as I said, the level. Honestly, I prefer the level because it might be more accurate. Now that the first hole is done, I'll make the second. I position myself on my mark. There you go. And now you just have to cut. And there you go. So here, I leave the conduits for now, and here I can insert my box. Afterwards, you have to tighten it, of course. 2-gang box, 3-gang box, the drilling template, the large one, or whatever the brand or level, you'll find all the links in the description. So now let's move on to the bottom box. Alright, one last overview now that everything is in place and the Geberit Duofix frame is installed. Just so you know, this type of frame is really designed for installing support frames, whether it's for the shower, the toilet for example, the Geberit reinforcements, the Geberit niche. We'll see that in the next video. And if you need to install a frame in the middle of a room with this type of structure, track on the floor, track on the ceiling with a reinforcement, you put up the studs and it's the structure that will support your frame. No need to look for a load-bearing wall with chemical anchoring to support the frame. So we're going to put this structure back roughly here, since I'll have the toilet and the sink cabinet coming into this partition. And my toilet will be installed in this structure. So in a partition, you can install a support frame. So in this area, I have the shower, 1.4 meters by 90 centimeters, the niche at the back. The two panels are the back of my niche. We're going to build up a structure that will come to about here, about 15 centimeters from the panel. And we're going to create a custom niche, a pretty complete guide on installing a niche step by step. I'll film everything for you with the integrated LED strip. Along this line, I'm going to build up exactly the same structure. And between the two structures, there will be the plumbing and the wiring for the LED strip. And normally, I'll try to place the transformer above the ceiling. That way, I'll have access. And I'm even going to make a hatch here. I'll talk to you about it again so I can have access behind the mixing valve. The bathtub will go here with a structure all around using rails and uprights. There will be a ledge that's about 20 to 25 centimeters. There'll be a partition here. The door will be roughly around there. And here the partition with the toilet and the sink cabinet. So, for now, we've gone over everything. The next step will be to tackle, as I mentioned, the niche. Then, installing the shower tray and moving forward with the bathtub.
The structure is finished.
It's behind me. I'm going to move the studs again as I explained to fit the niche. So a niche that will be about 50 cm wide. So for now it's done. We'll assemble the other structure and the whole partition together. We'll also do it with the track and the studs. I know the risks. I'm not cleaning the Parkside saw for now because I'm going to use it again to cut other plasterboards. So why bother cleaning them when I'm going to cut more right now? But once I've finished everything, I'll show you how I clean it. It'll be like new. I also showed you this saw. So it's really dedicated for steel. The blade spins at 5,000 revolutions per minute. Don't put a blade for aluminum or metal on a regular circular saw. The blade really needs to be suited for the machine. Otherwise you'll ruin the blade in just 3 cuts. It's done for. So this one, link in the description. It works great. Like the Parkside, I'll try to find the link for you, but apparently these machines are hard to find. Maybe I have a rare gem and in 3 years I'll be able to make a fortune from it. We'll see. Now the fastenings on the rail, you saw on the floor, no anchors. We drill, we vacuum, and we put the screw in directly. The reference is HUS 3H8X65, so it's an 8mm diameter. And 65 is the length. It comes in other diameters and different lengths. I'll give you the link that leads to the Hilti catalog. But honestly, this is great. Like I said, no anchors. We drill, we fasten, that's it. So the Geberit rail comes with fasteners. Here, I didn't use them. I told you about this type of screw, but they're sold in pairs and with all the fasteners. You should know that this rail is incomparable to a rail for a drywall structure. This one, I can bend it by hand. I can crush it. Here, the rail is almost impossible to crush by hand. It's super thick, and it has a special shape to receive the studs. So the studs, the reference is here. 1118710001, you'll find the link in the description. It's sold with a bracket, a mounting clip to lock it in place, a support frame. The screws, the instructions, everything. Now about the foam, I always have trouble with this foam. Either I forget it or I put it on the wrong side. On the ceiling, I had it reversed. It's not a big deal. And on the rail that holds the drywall, I had forgotten it. I took the rail apart again, I put the foam on and reattached it. But with this foam, I always have trouble. I don't know why. Either I forget it or I put it on the wrong side. So here, on the floor, I didn't forget it. On the ceiling, I put it the wrong way. It's not a big deal. I can cut a piece, tape it to the rail, and then we can put up the drywall. Alright, see you in the next video where we'll install the niche in the shower and this structure. The shower niche measures 1.40 meters long, 35 centimeters high, and 15 centimeters deep. And ideally, I'd like it to be at elbow height. That way, I'll gain some width. 90 plus 15, that's 1.05 meters, and in this structure, it will be a built-in niche. We'll talk about it again. So, a cabinet niche. And in this structure, the electrical supply will also be there to power the LED strip for the niche along this whole section of the wall. 1.40 meters long, okay? So, the next video will be all about the niche. Thank you for watching this video, and in the meantime, take care.